don't even know what it is. Shooting stars?
I don't know.
How did this happen? Where did it go wrong? Hello and welcome. The Pens and Pixels Popcast Huntercast? Pop Huntercast. What do you want to call this, Mike? That. Sure. See, you just got it. Anyways, I am Cal G, and to my left here is the coordinator extraordinaire
Mike Kent.
of the Hunter exams, Mike Kent.
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing is doing a little separate cast based on a mutual favorite manga of Cal's and mine. Everyone knows as, well, Hunter, or Hunter by Hunter. Which is
Hunter X Hunter,
yeah.
Hunter Cross Hunter. Who knows? I've seen people say so many different things.
Yeah, and the actual writers never corrected anybody, so...
No, it's one of those things, like, you don't know until you hear it pronounced, and no one in the show is ever saying, like, Hunter, Hunter.
But even the Japanese people in, like the commercials and stuff for it always say it wrong. So, like, in one commercial, they'll be like, Hunter, Hunter, and you'll be like, oh, so that's it. It's just the two words. And then the next anime commercial, Hunter by Hunter. And
yeah,
like,
no!
Oh, no, okay. So for those of you who don't know, in case you're just jumping in on this and curious to hear what we have to say, Hunter by Hunter, which is what I've always called it, is a manga that started in 1998. So it's been running for almost over
18 years.
18 years. It's a long-running manga that also became two separate anime series on its own.
Yeah, that's how long it's been on.
Yeah.
The first one adapted up until a certain point, and then there was years and years off, and then just recently in 2011, another one came out and adapted what the entire thing up to what had been done till that point.
Yeah, it's just been running so long, and at the same time, the manga itself has been running in infamy because it originally had a pretty solid release schedule, and is an extraordinary manga. We'll get into that. And then spontaneously, or not spontaneously, I suppose you kind of saw his downgrade.
There was a kind of there was one year where it's like, oh, there was more breaks than usual this year, and then more breaks than usual this year.
And then the quality in the actual manga's art itself dropped dramatically.
Sometimes we were presented with just scribbles.
Literally scribbles. Like, it was just like scribbles in a line and then like words. But he's gone back and redrawn a lot of that stuff, and he's had some pretty big gaps in between. Then the anime would catch up, and then they decided, like, alright, it's been like 5 years since the last chapter, but now we've got all these new chapters, so we're just going to re-update to the new stuff. And anyways, long-running series, but Hunter x Hunter has been particularly special, especially for me, but for a lot of people, it's a Shonen Jump kind of manga, like it's, guys with superpowers and combat kind of thing.
Yeah, like it's shonen, right? Like it's Dragon Ball Z, it's Bleach, it's that kind of thing.
But this one evolved itself in sheer writing and like structure so much more than all the others, and that's why it's so infamous and why it's so good. Is that
it kind of plays with the ideas that are commonly accepted in normal shonen animes like Dragon Ball Z.
And elaborates out so much more carefully, like in moments where, like, in a fight, they're like, I'll punch you real hard. Instead, in Hunter x Hunter, like, they're describing out the thought process and the psychological impact of what your next attack might do, and, like, how much strength in the muscle in your leg will have to fire off, but whether or not you're going to be in that heightened moment of adrenaline in order to, like, cut yourself into a right moment. And it's, like, so meticulously thought out that when the battle happens, and it's, like, 2 moves, you're like, oh my god! And
all the powers come with, like, conditions, and the higher the power is, the higher of a price you have to pay or something,
and the powers are really intricate. Like, the people who use them, because he's such a good writer, come up with these really, really intricate ideas on how to, like, make their abilities.
Versatile powers, too, is what I always, like, I'm always really appreciative of. I'm like, oh, how far could this go? But, like, and then things surprise you.
Yeah, like, you'll be like, oh, this person can, like, makes a vacuum cleaner, and you're like, whatever, and it turns out they're like a horrible monster god thing, and you're like, whoa. And it sounds
like, this is dope as hell.
Sounds dumb, but then he makes it cool. Such intricate writing, and so much thought goes behind so much about it that's made it into a favorite for both Cal and I. So we decided that from now on, we are going to, every week until he stops posting again.
Sorry, the author's name is Togashi, also.
Yoshiro Togashi.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, every week we're going to be talking about the newest Hunter chapter that was released until there is another inevitable hiatus. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But
so far he's been doing it week by week again.
for the last little while, and it's been great.
5 weeks.
And me and Mike just figured that we were talking so much about it every week when we recorded the regular podcast. That
You'll notice in the intros, pretty much every single time, we're always saying Killua.
It's true. There's something. I usually sneak some little thing in there about one of us talking about Hunter.
Yeah.
A couple times actually, even in the earlier episodes before he hadn't officially come back.
Yeah.
So that's the premise of this podcast. Is we're going to be talking about the newest chapters,
yeah.
And this week we're going to be talking about chapter 357, I believe.
357.
357. This is a big one, folks. This is a great way to launch this little mini cast.
This is like one of the best chapters to have come out from this manga, and like, well, I mean, they've all been amazing, but somehow this culminated to getting even better. Like every week, we were like, "Oh, next week it's just gonna."
Okay, and I should say, for anyone who just listened to that and thought like, "Oh, that sounds cool," stop listening. Go watch the series. Go read the manga.
Yeah.
Go, because this is chapters for the most recent chapter.
Yeah.
You don't want to get to the spoilers. You want to go see how it all comes to this.
We might go back and cover older chapters at some point, especially if he stops publishing again. But,
yes, for sure.
For now, we're just going to shoot off from right where it currently is at, and then we're just going to assume everyone's up to date. So
yes.
If you're not up to date in Hunter x Hunter, then I suggest not listening. I mean, it's just too much spoiler.
Mm-hmm. But if you're not, go watch it. I'm not even a huge anime guy myself, and I love this series. It's one of my favorite series. It's probably my favorite anime.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite series just in general, in television or comic books.
Yeah, same here. All the same for me.
So without further ado, Mike, when you read this week's chapter,
I blew a fucking gasket.
Fuck, man. Like, I was picking up my phone and I was about to text you like 4 times because I was like, I'll talk about it tomorrow with him. I was like, let's talk about it tomorrow.
I didn't know what to write. I was just like, I ran out of words and I wrote that text and it was like one line. I even have it here where I'm like, what do I say that makes this make sense? Like, how do I convey this? I was just like, I don't know what to do. So I think all I wrote was, dude, Hunter x Hunter. So good, I'm welling up. Like that's like
I was like panicking and shaky, and I was like, I'll talk about it with him tomorrow. It's fine, but I really wanted to talk about it right then. Yeah. And then the text after you sent me that, I was like, I propose we podcast about this. So it's been culminating. It's the fight between Chrollo, Lucifer, and Hisoka.
Yeah,
crazy clown pedophile man.
The best character. Almost.
The best character.
Yeah. And
the last chapter left us off on this fucking looked like Hisoka was going to do a kamikaze and explode. Yeah. And he did!
And he did. And it starts up and he's like, and he's dead. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and his face is all he looks kind of like a skull.
Yeah.
He has the nose thing.
Yeah. And he's all like fried and fucked up. And then,
Shalnark confirms he's not breathing.
Yeah, and the spiders show up, of course, because he's fighting the boss, right? We shouldn't, we hate this guy. And he's betrayed us, right? So, yeah, he shows up. They all show up, and they're like, all right, we're gonna take a look at his body, and he's dead. And then I'm trying to find the name of the girl. I forgot her name.
Is it Mako?
Mako. Yeah,
Macho? I forget her name.
I think it's Mako. She's the spider who uses needles and thread. She's the one who's sewed him up before in the past.
Yes, in the past, in the first Heaven's Arena arc.
Yeah, and apparently he's prepaid to have her sew up his body again? Yeah,
which is awesome because his whole plan here was to use the bungee gum to reanimate himself.
Yeah, he used the death nen thing too, where if you die, your nen becomes infinitely stronger. Right?
Is that the case?
Yeah, that's what she was mentioning.
She said that, but I thought she was just misinterpreting what was going on.
No, this was his attempt. He was like, I'm going to implement this nen on myself, and because I'm going to die, it's going to last and be stronger. It'll be the thing that can bring me back, right?
That's cool.
Which is just fucking Hisoka. Who the fuck comes up with that shit?
Right?
While you're falling, he's like, I'll give this a spin.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it was genius of him to pay her beforehand because I assume that even if he ended up in pieces, she would sew him back together, and this could still work.
Yeah.
How dope is that? So I'm not really sure, scientifically, this is, bullshit. You can't just start massaging a fucking lung and make it breathe again. But, this is great.
It's so good.
When I saw this at first, though, I was like, holy fuck, they killed Hisoka. They did it.
Yeah.
I was like, he's wrapping the series up. This is end of this arc. I was like, well, this is finally what happened. That's fine.
And that's the thing is, I guess he decided to just cross this one off his list. Because there's no limit to what Togashi would do. He could totally kill anybody.
See, going into this, my thought was maybe that Togashi was, he's planning on wrapping Hunter up. So he's like, okay, I'm going to give them the Hisoka Chrollo fight. I'm going to get them to go to the Dark Continent and see what that's about, and maybe everyone dies. Like, I just thought, like, this is the final thing. Like, it's probably going to happen. Apparently not. Apparently he's got a lot more in store for us.
Yeah. And then, he just brings himself back to life, and he's got, like, still his nose is still ripped off, even though she's kind of sewed back together, most of them. But he's still missing his fingers and his foot.
Yep.
He just hops back up. He's like, oh.
Yeah, he's like, hey.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Reality sure knows how to give you a wake-up call. Yeah, great.
Well, and it's the thing, too. He lost a fight. Like, that. I wonder what that's going to do, right?
Well, so then he, like, makes his missing fingers and foot from rubber.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, the part about that's the only thing in the chapter that got me was, like, he does have the girl there that was going to could sew his back together, like, mostly, right? I don't know if she could put the fingers back on or anything.
We don't even... The fingers might be disintegrated across the...
Yeah, so, like, I don't know if she could put the limbs back on, but could have sewed his face back together and gotten everything back up to working order 100%.
No, but he blew up, though, so, like, his nose was just gone. Like, there was no nose to put back on.
I guess.
That's what I'm figuring.
I just wonder, like, let her finish, because she's like, I could finish fixing up, and she's like, no. He's like, no, I got it.
That's a good point.
I guess his rubber works just as well as limbs. But now he has to maintain that with Nen all the time.
Well, so that was my concern. I was like, will he have to be constantly concentrating just a bit harder now at all times to keep, like, his foot solid?
Yeah.
So he doesn't just all of a sudden trip or something,
Yeah.
Although, like, something like this might be no sweat off Hisoka.
That's the thing.
So Hisoka, after his Jesus-like resurrection here, he up and decides, surprisingly, hey, fuck the spiders.
Yeah, but I didn't get the motivation behind that right away.
I still don't understand the motivation behind it. Like, what... Is it because... Here's my theory.
Yeah.
He feels like what happened between him and Chrollo in that fight was not a fight. Like, Chrollo hid and, like, spammed attacks at him like a boss in a JRPG or something. Here's all my minions,
Yeah.
He didn't really get to fight Chrollo. Like, he did, but he didn't. It was a lot of, like, hiding and, like, using the audience and stuff, which is... I feel like Chrollo wanted to, like, take this motherfucker one-on-one.
Yeah.
So he's gonna, like, methodically take out all the spiders and then work his way back to Chrollo and be like, you ain't got no one, bitch. You can't borrow Shalnark's phone.
Well, what I thought it was because they were talking before about, like, she said, like, Mako said, like, oh, you should pick your fights with people in... Like basically, don't just pick a fight with them. Set it up so that you're in a situation where you know you have a better chance of winning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the way that you pick your ground to fight. And then when she said that, he's like, oh, I see. Then I'll kill the spiders. And I'm like, oh, well, that's what he's going to do. He's going to set up a fight where he can fight Chrollo and win, and where he's going to take out the only thing he cares about, which is the spiders. Wipe them out. He has no backup, no powers to call from with the others. Like if he wanted to use the phone or all those other abilities. I mean, I'm sure he's got more, but...
I mean, he has a whole book of them. But yeah, he can't borrow other spiders' abilities.
Again. But also leaves him distracted, and kind of lost, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
that's what I'm thinking. Like, and this is also a great way to get Hisoka into the Dark Continent.
Yeah.
Because
the spiders, too. Because we're like, what's going on with the spiders? And now suddenly they're off to the continent again. I'm like, well, no more spiders. We have another ant arc.
Yeah. Yeah, where we see nobody.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm stoked now, because everyone's going to go to the Dark Continent. Do you think that... Sorry, this is getting a little off topic, but I need to... So do you think that we're not going to see Gon at all now? Do you think this is...
No, I think he's gonna join in later. So he's gonna do the thing like he's done with other chapters, where like halfway through it's gonna pop over to something that happens with Gon, then he's gonna disappear off of the chapters for a really long time. Mm-hmm. But like right before he disappears, they're gonna be like, "Off you go!" Right, and then he'll pop up later on. Mm-hmm. Like he's gonna cut him out. The one I'm more worried about, the one that I really think we'll see zero of, is Killua. Because there is currently no connection whatsoever.
You're forgetting Alika.
Yeah, but what connections does she have to all of that? Like,
dude, she's from the Dark Continent.
When did they say that?
She's like an atrocity from the Dark Continent. Maybe they didn't say it, but they showed her saying something that was said by something on the Dark Continent that had her face. When it showed the Dark Continent, when it was like, oh, the Dark Continent, it kind of like panned to over to like enemies there and stuff. There was something with a very Alaka-like face saying the exact same thing she said. She goes, I. There's like 3 things that are like, I. She's from the Dark Continent, fucking calling it now. And she's gonna either need to go back there, or Killua is gonna be like, okay, I'll bring you here because, you know...
It could be, I don't remember.
I'm a great big brother.
I totally believe you, I don't remember seeing
Godspeed
that,
over to that.
But they said that it was their kid. Like, they didn't... Like, they actually gave birth to Alaka. Like,
But didn't... Silva said something about Alaka at some point about it not being of this world. So maybe they did have a child, and, like, for some reason they went to the Dark Continent with a baby, and then it got infected with whatever it is, and they kept it in that room, and they're like, no, I'm not touching it, keep it away, no.
No dark babies with weird plastic faces.
Oh, nothing, leave. Just close the door. Just keep it in there. It's fine.
Put a camera on it. We'll just make sure it's, like, still breathing.
Do they even do that?
Yeah.
I mean, the mom has those robot eyes.
Yeah. But she has a robot eyes because Killua was the one who blinded her.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, let's talk about the rest of this chapter first. Mm-hmm. This is weird. I think this is a weird thing for Hisoka to do, too, because Hisoka's usually very, like, I want to fight someone at their highest power, I want to, like, you know, I want them to be, like, you know, using all their power when I fucking crush them or whatever, right?
Yeah, but...
He totally just, like Shalnark doesn't even have his phone, and he just leaves Shalnark bloodied and dead. He attacks that other motherfucker with the hair on the toilet. He rips his head off.
But he didn't consider those guys threats. Like, he never wanted to fight the spiders. Remember?
I think Hisoka's smart enough to be like, the spiders are pretty strong. He usually wants to fight people, like, fairly, you know.
But he never considered them a real threat. Because, like, if he actually wanted to fight all the spiders, he would have set up a situation in the very beginning to never have joined them and just fight each one. Mm. Right? And that would have been his planning. But he never really wanted to fight the spiders. Like, they weren't a challenge to him. He was just like... Alright, these guys are strong, but they're not Lucifer strong. Right?
Yeah.
And I know I can kill them, right? So I don't need these guys, right? But I need to get closer to Chrollo, and the only way to do that is to join in and, like, play a game of machinations, right? Mm. So no, like, I don't think he ever considered them a threat or a worthwhile target at all. Like, there was no, like, they're not going to get stronger. They're as strong as they're going to get. So there's no, like, oh, I can wait until, like, Gon and Killua get into their peak, right? Mm-hmm. And you excite me. He knew that. He was like, these guys are what they are, and they're as good as they're going to get, and they would provide me with a good fight, but not the fight I want, right? So he just kind of left them alone, and that was the whole thing for all of the spiders, which I think he kind of communicated throughout most of it, was just like,
I was just surprised at, like, oh, he took out 3 spiders this fucking chapter. He just...
Did he kill Mako? Because he tied her up, and then he said, I want you to send him a message. But then I was like, did you kill her?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe she's just tied up.
Yeah.
So he killed Hairman. I don't know the dude's name.
Kurotopi.
Right, okay. Yeah. And then Shalnark is, like, he's all bloody and fucked up.
He just smashed his face into the ground and then just left him hanging.
Wait, and his foot went all rubber. He did that, like... And that's going to be, like, such an advantage to him now that he has, like...
Rubber limbs.
This rubber, like, propelling system, right? Like, potential. Okay.
It was such an amazing scene, too, because, like, when he first goes, like, I'm going to kill the spiders, I'm like, okay, here we go. We're going to have him, like, take one out, and then, like, we won't see anything happen with this for, like, ever. And then it just switches over to that scene, and then suddenly he's got Kurotopi's head in his hands.
Yeah.
And he's just like, hi, and then he just, in, like, one punch, drops the guy. It's dead, head concussion, smashed brain face, like, gone in one shot, and then just, like, leaves him there bleeding, and he's like, alright, 2 down.
I saw someone point out...
Or did he say 3 down? I think he says 2 down.
We're checking in real time, folks. Please be patient.
Yeah, just to confirm that we have the right amount of, of spiders.
He says 10 more to go.
And there's 12 spiders.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, so, he didn't kill Mako.
Yeah, so... Okay. I had a theory in my head for a second, but first I'm gonna say that something that I saw was cool on the...
This is an interjection on the last scene when he says 10 more to go and he just puts the music note at the end of it. I'm just like, I heard the voice.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
There's a little, like, chime, like, 10 more to go. Like, just off to have some fun. Fuck, so good.
Yes, this is an amazing goddamn chapter. It was a little divisive, though, because some people thought that him coming back to life was a little bullshit, and then because he doesn't speak his motivation out loud, like some people were like, why is he killing all the spiders now? I saw some cool, like, not theories, but just like little tidbits here and there about when Hisoka was in the spiders, his number was 4.
Mm-hmm.
4 is the number of death in Japan, which is like, that's a real cool thing. Who knows if Togashi, planned this out from the start, but
this guy could.
Yeah, it was like,
I wouldn't put it past him.
Another one was Shalnark's phone. Apparently, the conditions were like 1 out of 3 times that you answer it, it's gonna be the god of death coming after you or something like that.
That was the thing he said.
Hisoka's god of death. Fucking murdered him. Great. That's so cool. So what I'm imagining is going to happen, I think, in my mind, is I had all the pieces together and just fell apart. No. Okay, good. There was something where Illumi wants to control Alaka.
Yeah.
And I think that Alaka is from the Dark Continent, which is going to tie them together. Why do I think this has anything to do with the spiders, though?
Because the spiders just said in this comic that there was a big treasure, which they didn't realize wasn't a treasure, right? That the princes are going to try and get the throne, right? And they're like, well, here's the big treasure, so we're all going to go now and steal it, right? So now all the spiders are now going to the Dark Continent. Everyone now is getting assigned to going on this trip to get there now, right?
Yes.
They've set up almost everyone except for Killua and Gon to be going to the Dark Continent.
Yes.
So now the spiders are going as well, which will send Hisoka there, which will also send...
Oh, and what's his face? Killua's sister and Illumi's sister. Or brother?
Yeah, the little girl. Is one of the spiders.
Is that a boy or a girl?
It's supposed to be all boys.
Oh, okay, so it is a boy. It's just... Okay, but she identifies as a girl?
I guess, because they say her, like, as a sister.
I think that's the case. It's the same thing with Alaka, right? It's a boy that identifies as a girl?
I don't even... Again, I've heard different things saying that... Alaka, like the nobody. What was it? What's the name of the thing again?
Nanaka
is a girl, and then like Alaka is a boy, and like there's a transition between the two.
See, and what I heard was that everyone referred to Alaka as a boy, as a boy, all the family, but Killua, the one who cares about her, refers to her as a girl, and that's kind of a cool thing if that's true. I haven't really noticed that because I don't really notice the pronoun stuff, but...
No, I didn't notice the pronoun stuff.
I saw someone say that, and I was like, I just took it for granted. I was like, I'm not going to go back and check. But I was like, that'd be a cool thing.
I'll just accept the truth. But yeah, I mean, either way, I don't really care. I mean, they say that they only have boys, so I think they're supposed to all be boys, but then again, I have no clue who her name is, but the one that joined the spiders, I think, is actually a girl. I think it's the only daughter.
Sure, okay. Anyways, she's with the spiders. Maybe Hisoka goes to... he's going to kill all the spiders. When her life is in danger, Illumi's going to step in, maybe, or Killua, and then that's how they get there.
Well, I don't know. Illumi only seems to care about Killua, though.
Yeah, okay. It's probably not Illumi. Yeah. But maybe Killua. He's the... Yeah. Although I don't really know how much he cares about the rest of his family, but that's the only way I could see it maybe tying.
I could see that becoming a new plot point, though, is if Hisoka kills a Zoldyck? Zoldyck?
Oh, Zoldyck.
Zoldyck,
yeah. Zoldyck.
A lot of the names in Hunter are really hard to even figure out.
Yeah, Kurapika, I still don't really... I'm like, Kurapika? Kurapika.
Or what about all of the names of the ants? Like the 3 ant generals?
Holy shit.
Shao, Poofu.
Poof is great. I just call him Poof.
Yeah,
his name's Poof, yeah.
And then Neferlil Pipo, or Pipo?
Never P2.
Neferlil Pitu?
I just call her P2.
Yeah. And then what was the other one?
He's got a knack for coming up with real fucked up names.
Oh, yeah.
The other one was real simple, I think, but I forget his.
Yeah,
the red one, yeah. Yeah, the red one. That's what I call
him. The one that got big. Like, he was
Shoopy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shoopy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shoopy. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he's also just got, like, Knuckle. Like, Knuckle's a good name. Anyway, so, Mike, what do you think is going to happen next week? Do you think I feel like he's done with this. This is going to stop right now.
It's gonna get
We're not going to see it for a little bit.
Now that we've seen all this action for like 5 chapters, though, we're going to get back into what those moments he's really good at, which is a lot of fucking words.
So, but are we going to jump to a lot of words? Is Kurapika and the princes, are they going to take off? Are the boats going to start to move?
Yeah, well, I think that part is going to come in. I mean, not by next chapter. He's draws shit out.
Sure, yes.
You know?
So it'll probably go to talking.
Yeah.
But you think it's going to be back focused on Kurapika again? That's what I'm imagining. It feels like it's been a little while.
I mean, I don't know. The other thing that they did also cut out on is that he was doing a lot with Gon's dad there for a while.
Yeah, Ging.
Yeah, and he was like trying to escape that boat, and he was using it because his power is to use other people's powers.
Oh yeah, and he was using Leora's power.
Yeah.
So cool. Yes, that was fucking awesome.
That was great.
Yeah,
but like they had that, and then that just kind of cut. Right?
Yeah.
So like that whole part hasn't been covered that much, and then at the same time, the whole thing with Leoro and Kurapika and the Zodiac Council there, right? Like that hasn't really been covered all that much either, right?
No, we need to get back to that.
Yeah.
There's so much shit to cover that like I don't know where he's going to jump
goal.
to.
Do you remember their goal? What was the Zodiac's goal here? Oh yeah, that's the other thing. We haven't seen anything with Beyond Netero.
No, we don't know much about him in general. So.
And he's the whole the guy who started this whole thing going, right? Like so. It seems to me like there's just like a lot of different content that hasn't been covered, so it could be one of any of those things. But all of that involves a lot of talking.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. We're probably gonna get a couple weeks talking.
Yeah,
but that's totally fine.
But the writing is so intense that even with the talking part, you're like, oh, like the election, like them talking about like trying to like control the room to plan out the election.
Yes,
I was like, oh, and they're just talking about they haven't even voted yet. They're just talking about thinking about voting.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay, but like. Who's that rat dude? The dude who was the sign for the rat? I kept thinking he was going to do something.
No, it was the monkey. It was the
real
traitor.
sly. Was it the monkey?
The monkey was the traitor.
No, the dude, Pariston?
Oh yeah.
Him,
yeah.
because he was everyone.
He's fucking weird and creepy and scary.
I feel like he's going to be like a bigger part in the future.
Oh yeah, he's like kind of horrifying.
Also, when are we going to see Gyro? Gyro's that dude that randomly had that part in the like. Sorry, for everybody who doesn't... Did we talk about that on the podcast?
Yeah.
Was that on the podcast?
No,
we just talked about it that night. So yeah, we had a big discussion about how... what the whole gyro thing was about and when that's ever going to come into play and how this ant is going to figure into things.
Well, they put it together so much foreshadowing with it because, like, they talked about the whole, like, drug trade thing and then they talked about the boss of it. They went through his entire horrible childhood.
Yeah.
And then he became the boss of the whole cartel. And then he apparently created a very friendly and homey environment to make many good, very strong friends who all became ants. And that was their key to snapping out of being ants, was that they remembered Gyro and the relationship and friendship they used to have.
Right.
And then they all remembered that at the end.
You reminded me of that. I forgot that was a thing.
And then Gyro had that whole thing where he clicked before everyone else and walked off, even though he came back as an ant. He walked off way early. And then everyone else now all the other ants have gone off to like chase after him.
Yeah, that's right.
In the last, like all the survivors, like the octopus dude and the crab dude and all that.
Yeah, and we still like I don't know if we're going to see Kaito again.
I don't know if we will. I mean, they brought him back, kind of like just settled him there, but it would be very cool to see what they were thinking about doing with a like Kaito who's strong.
An ant now, yeah.
And then now an ant. Like
I will say that's one thing that I didn't like about the anime is that in the beginning they didn't have that scene of Kite and Gon in the woods.
They make the introduction
so,
and
like,
bring him back in.
Yeah, so later on when I was watching the anime, like it's like okay, but it's this man that Gon's never seen before. Yeah. Why is he so upset? You know,
I know why. Because like I've read the manga and saw it in the original series, and like in both of those, they do the whole that Gon's motivation to become a hunter was that he found out about his dad from Kite, right, and then found out about hunters from him, and then like the whole lesson he taught him about not killing the bear, and like not like and respecting nature and all that was all a lesson from Kite. That's why he has so much respect for him. And then said, if you want to chase after your dad, you've got to do this. Yeah. And then that's when he talks to his mom, as I quote near, like his adopted mom, and or his real mom, possibly. Anyways, I don't know. Sometimes stories get so convoluted in there.
I don't remember. I just thought it was his mom. I had no idea.
Yeah, I think it's an adopted mom. Anyways, it is an adopted mom because it asked in the tape recording that Jin made. He was like, if you want to hear about your mother, can keep listening. But then he stopped it.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
And he's like, no. My mom is her. So I don't know where this is gonna go. There's so
many things that could happen.
So much good coming. This is the first time too, actually, because like in the Ant arc, there was a lot of stuff I was excited to see, but I was never like, oh my god. Not until like they actually had the attack on the castle was I wanted to read the next chapter so badly. It has been a long time since Hunter's really done that. Since they started back up, right with the whole like we're going to the Dark Continent thing after the election, I was just like, Tractors, give me the tractors, give me the tractors.
Yeah, you don't seem as like you seem like the ant arc isn't your favorite, right?
I like hardcore. Some moments in it, some really amazing moments in it are like Killua's fight with the like the monkey squad, where like in half a second he just like kills them all with like no abilities. He just like moves one guy's spear into the other guy's head, and then like took the other one's eyes.
Right.
Just like in midair in the branches, he just dropped everyone in like 0.5 seconds just by like making them kill each other instead. Just like Killua to a T kind of shit. And of course his fight with UP where he's like lightning, that's obviously one of the great ones, right? There's a few really good moments, but there was a lot of the rest of it where I was just like, fucking
I can understand that. I think the ant one is my favorite, maybe Yorknu. Hard to say.
Yorkshin.
Yeah, they call it Yorknu in the anime, right?
Yeah.
I think that's why I call it that.
Oh. Do they?
Yeah, I think they do.
Oh, well.
I could be totally wrong and I'm just an idiot and I call it Yorknu.
I don't know. But, yeah, I love the Yorkshin stuff. I liked all of that. The ant thing, it still feels a little bit like filler.
I don't think the ant arc feels like filler at all. I think there are sections that are padded out way too long. I don't think it feels like a filler arc, though. I think there was a lot of shit that are, like...
I felt like the ant arc got way creepier though than like the series itself is really dark, but like
it absolutely got like super dark with
like
stuff.
Like right when they got into the ant thing, and then they've got one of the archer guy, the like rainbow archery nen power, and he was one of the hunting exam graduates.
Yeah.
And he gets caught, and then he's what was her name? The other one, the cat ant.
Neferpitou?
Yeah. Pitu was like trying to figure out about Nen that has needles in his brain, and then was like making him talk to answer the like.
Yeah,
fucking like what?
The dude's been doing this since 1998. He didn't want to do it, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go real fucked up with this." Like he's probably just he's growing as a writer. He wants to do a little darker stuff. That's what I kind of took it as, knowing how long that thing had gone on.
All right, well, to close off for this chapter, though, so let's just both hit on what we would like to see most of all happen next.
Next week?
Yeah.
Oh,
or even the next thing that you want to see most of all, the thing you're looking forward to seeing the most.
I'm conflicted because I really want to see Gone Without Nen and what he's going to do.
Yeah, that's one of my big ones.
And I really want to see that, but I don't know if I want to see it right now, but it's what I want to see the most.
Yeah.
That's what I really want.
I kind of want the same thing. I want to see what happens with Gon. Is he going to get a new Nen? And is he going to unlock like a special Nen, like a speciality on the tree? Right?
Yeah, is he going to go a different direction because after all this healing shit?
Is he no longer going to be like this like bullheaded reinforcement type Nen user? Is he going to become something else? Maybe utilizing that whole like I'm more like an animal thing a lot more, because that was his cool trait, right? That he grew up being so close to nature that he's really connected to it.
And that was really hit on in the first early Hunter exam arcs and stuff.
So maybe like I would like to see something.
I would
like
really,
that.
I would really love to see that. And I mean, if he just kept going with this Hisoka stuff, I'm not going to be complaining.
Oh god, if he keeps going, like if the next chapter was actually him going through more spiders, which it could totally be, because I didn't expect him to even kill 2 already. Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to see this happen. Like, fuck all the other arcs and just go kill spiders for me.
Man, he's going to have so much trouble fighting like Phaeton and Phaeton? Is that his name?
I don't know if that's true. Phaeton, yeah.
Yeah, dude, a little.
I don't know if that's true. He apparently can drop him in one punch.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it won't matter.
Yeah.
He's just gonna like single-handed, like they're gonna have like no fights. He's just gonna single-handedly kill all of them, and then Chrollo's gonna be like, "But why? But why?" Anyways, what do you want to see?
Gone.
Yeah.
Mine just like he was my number 1. If I were to pick another one, kind of torn for my number 2. Because I'm actually really interested in seeing the rest of the Prince's Nen monsters.
Yeah, that weird tittied, fat creature.
But each prince gets a Nen monster, right?
Yeah.
To protect them. I'm kind of curious to see what happens with that and their combat based around having these Nen monsters protect them.
Yes.
So I really kind of want to find out what happens with that.
It's also interesting.
Yeah. But then I also what I would really like to see is oh god. I just lost his name. I want to see more of Jin. I want to see what's happening with him. And I really like to see someone of that caliber out there fighting and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And like you said, the rat dude, I'm forgetting his name.
Pariston, I think his name
Pariston, yeah, you're right. I want to see what's going on with it because like he's like that pretty but like more fucked up than Hisoka.
There was something going on with him
like,
that like we
fucking
didn't get the full picture on.
Sociopath. Like Hisoka's like a goofy sociopath where he's just like, I just like fighting, and you're like, all right, you're fucked up, but whatever, you know. But
Paris seems like there's something real sinister
like
about
really
him.
Sociopath. Like I really am constantly dreaming of the burning of humanity kind of thing. Like I want to see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think? What do you want to see?
Yeah.
What are your favorite Hunter moments? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I want to hear from you guys. Bring up stuff that you even want to have us kind of discuss, or I want to hear from you and hear about your favorite moments and the thing that captured you into the series.
That's the thing. Hunter is such it feels like it's so hardcore and such a tiny community that I've rarely found people that I can be like, yes, Hunter about, you know?
Oh my god, as a quick point, it's kind of funny. You remember how in one of the previous podcast episodes you were talking about being, is it bad for you to go to the theater and watch cartoons, animated shows and stuff like that? I was just at the school and I sat down in the student commons, and then these two like really big thug bro guys come over and they sit down and pop open their computers and they started watching Hunter.
That's great.
That was great.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to get in contact with us, you can either comment on SoundCloud, you can email us at meetpensandpixels@gmail.com. We'll put it in the show notes of this show.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'd like to hear from you. So until next week, what the hell did they say at the end, Hunter?
Bye.
Killua!